I was raised Catholic, went to Catholic school for 8 years, and the one thing they never covered in religion class was what to do when the Pope publishes a better AI policy document than your government. His Holiness Pope Leo XIV, the first American pope in the history of the Catholic Church, has issued an encyclical, which is a formal letter the Pope sends to the entire world when he has something important to say, titled Magnifica Humanitas, which translates to The Grandeur of Humanity, and which he published on May 15, 2026, the 135th anniversary of Rerum Novarum. The encyclical, his predecessor Leo XIII wrote in 1891 to address the Industrial Revolution. In today's video, we'll find out what the oldest continuously operating bureaucracy on Earth thinks about large language models, find out why the Pope is more worried about your data than your sins, and whether an institution that took 400 years to apologize to Galileo can still make a valid point about tech ethics. The document opens with 2 biblical stories he uses as a framework for the entire thing. The Tower of Babel, where humanity built a tower to reach God, got too big for its boots, and ended up scattered and confused, which he describes as what happens when you build technology without reference to anything beyond yourself or your quarterly earnings report. And the book of Nehemiah, where a man named Nehemiah rebuilds the walls of Jerusalem brick by brick, not through one genius founder but through every family, priest, and merchant taking responsibility for their own section of the wall. Leo XIV says the AI industry is at exactly this fork and asks us to please choose Nehemiah. The fact that this is a more grounded product philosophy than move fast and break things is something I will leave you to reflect on privately. Now, the core of the document is that AI is not neutral. Every model is shaped by whoever built it, whoever funded it, and whatever they were optimizing for. And right now, the people building it are accountable primarily to their shareholders and secondarily to everyone else on Earth, in that order. He calls this an epistemic, economic, and political asymmetry, which is an extremely polite way of saying that a small number of people in San Francisco are making decisions that affect 8 billion people who did not vote for them and cannot fire them. On AI and warfare, he says autonomous weapon systems should not be making lethal decisions, and the traditional just war doctrine the Church spent 15 centuries developing to define when violence is morally acceptable is now outdated and should be retired. The confidence is remarkable, coming from an institution that took until 1992 to formally tell Galileo he was right about the solar system. There is a section in the document that most people covering it have skipped over, which is about the actual human beings who make AI function. The children mining rare earth elements in dangerous conditions in parts of Africa and South America so that the hardware running these models can exist. The most quietly radical part of the whole document is about data. Leo XIV argues that data is produced collectively by millions of people and should be governed as a common good, not owned privately by whoever collected it. Your behavioral data, your health data, your relationship data, your preferences, your fears, all of it currently forms the asset base of some of the most valuable companies in human history, and you got nothing for it. Not even a thank you email. The Pope thinks this is wrong. Now I want to be honest. This is the Catholic Church, the same institution that kept Galileo under house arrest for saying the Earth moves around the sun and then waited 350 years to say sorry about it. The same institution, with a complicated enough history on pretty much every major social question that Leo XIV spends the entire first chapter specifically addressing why anyone should listen to the Church on anything worldly at all. But the document is also genuinely engaging with real research and real economic literature in a way that is more than can be said for most AI policy coming out of governments that have existed for considerably less time than the Vatican has had indoor plumbing. The full document is free on the Vatican website, which at this point is a more ethical data policy than most of the companies the document is criticizing. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.